So we're here today to discuss, obviously, the Pro Wrestling World Cup. This is a brand new thing from WCPW that we're presenting. And there's World Cups in other kinds of sports. Football's got the World Cup. There's the Olympics for various sports. But there's not really one of those for wrestling. So we thought that we should bring that to the wrestling audience. So this could change the face of pro wrestling, and that's obviously what we're here to talk about today. So without further ado, here to talk to you about it is the official ambassador for the Pro Wrestling World Cup 2017. Please put your hands together for the one and the only Mr. Jim Ross.
Fun project we have brewing. I think you're going to like it. Give you the parameters of this tournament. Very unique tournament. I'm a big fan of tournaments. I think that it's anything that we can do in pro wrestling to more closely align our genre to mainstream sports as far as structure is concerned, better off we are. So, and the tournament, certainly, as Kenny mentioned, the Professional Wrestling World Cup 2017 is just that, episodically produced. It's going to have talents from all over the world, and it's going to bring a lot of focus, I think, on Britain, a great deal, because of the fact that the final 4 days are going to be here in this country. Just to go over some of the guidelines, if you want to take your notes on this, there's going to be 64 wrestlers in total that will be entered into the tournament. 64. Those 64 wrestlers competing will represent the following countries of England, Scotland, Germany, Canada, USA, Mexico, Japan, and a rest of the world marketplace, at-large entries, if you will. There will be 8 qualifying legs that will be held, one for each nation, and those will be held over the next 5 months. Each will be featuring 8 wrestlers from each nation. So each nation, there's 8 of them, 8 guys, 8 men in each division, 64. In the next 5 months, we'll find out who's going to be coming to England in August for the final. In the qualifying matches, there's going to be a succession of one-night single elimination tournaments. So it's when you win in advance, you lose, and you go home. So every match has a great deal of urgency and immediacy and a sense of urgency. We hope that we'll be represented in the ring, bell to bell. I think that's going to be terrific in that regard. You must win to advance. So these will be a succession of one-night single elimination tournaments, and they'll produce 2 qualifiers. So you'll get out of each region, you're going to get 2 men qualifying, and then they will come to England and go in the finals in August. Several of the qualifying events will take place in their respective countries. Once again, separating this tournament, I think, from the traditional pro wrestling promoted tournament. It's not a promotional tournament where everything is in that one geographic region. It legitimately is a global, world-based tournament. And you'll see more about that as we progress here in this format. The 16-man finals will be held over 4 days at the end of August, from the 23rd of August, concluding on the 26th of August. 23rd through the 26th, and the final 2 dates for sure on August 25 and 26 will take place in Newcastle's Sports Center, which we do fully expect to sell out. So Newcastle Sports Center will have the final 2 nights, August 25 and 26. I'm looking forward to being a part of that process and the broadcast in August, coming back to, it's always good to come back anyway, because, you know, you find, after me being in the wrestling business for 40 years, you want to gravitate to where fans are still enthusiastic, they have fun, you know, they're unbridled. I like that, and you find that here in the UK especially. So we think that that tournament in August is going to be big. Without question, I'm looking forward to being a part of that and calling the action to crown the first ever. You know, hopefully there'll be more champions, but there'll only be one first-time champion. So the first-time champion has a great deal at stake as far as his professional legacy, his resume, things of that nature are concerned. Let's see here. What else I need to tell you, fellas? I think when I first heard about this concept, I was very intrigued by it. You know, I've been involved in tournaments, many tournaments over my career, but I think it's really, it's almost like a celebration of the new, of where wrestling is right now. You know, there's no hotter region in the world than where we are today. And I think that it's somewhat of a celebration being able to bring all these nations together and these companies together to cooperate with the tournament so that we can continue to service the fans and entertain the wrestling fans. And for all of us in the wrestling business, and I'm still in the wrestling business, I'm here today, obviously, that, you know, we must continue to prioritize the fans first. It's not about the boys. It's not about the girls. It's not about the promotion. It's about the fans. Because without the fans and the media supporting these fans and our efforts, we're not here. So I think it's a celebration for the business and the fans that's concerned. And here's another really interesting part about this. You can watch the entire, fans can watch the entire tournament for free. There will be no pay-per-view. You're not going to get a gun to your head to buy something and another gun to your head to buy something else. This is truly a fan-friendly tournament from that WhatCulture's created. And I love the fact that you'll be able to watch it for free on the WhatCulture YouTube channel. They've got over 1 million subscribers. It costs you nothing to subscribe. There's no reason as a wrestling fan, no matter where you live in the world, that you can't engage this tournament and enjoy what's going on. And obviously, I think we're looking at the last 2 nights will be live. So again, that's a key point. Free coverage. So if you can find your way to your computer and jump on YouTube, you're in. You're done. So that's really good, I think, in that regard. And I think it's going to be a great tool also for WhatCulture to build their audience and for people to get exposed to their promotion and to these athletes that are going to be competing in this tournament. Because really, every match is important. When you're in a single elimination tournament, every match is important. There's no second chances. So you got to make the most of your opportunities as a performer and as a competitor. So I think when you get down to the final 16 and we get back here in August, it's going to be pretty impressive, that list. It'll be like a who's who of talents. And they're all going to want to outperform their peer. They're all going to be the guy. And I love that aspect of the business. So the free feature is really important to jot down. And again, it speaks to the growth of WhatCulture. It speaks to their success and the fact that they have over 1 million subscribers to the YouTube channel. It's nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. And that's growing daily. Interesting, couple of notes. Canada, great wrestling area in Canada. I've spent many nights in Canada, you know, a lot of famous matches over my career. You know, of course, I'll go ahead and say it, you know, the Montreal screw job, before you guys do, was one Canadian weekend that I won't forget back in November of '97. But, you know, there's been a lot of others. You know, WrestleMania 18, The Rock and Hogan had a pretty nice little match that Jerry Lawler and I called. But there's so much tradition there. So the cool thing about Canada is we're really happy that the Canadian qualifying leg is going to feature Canada's best independent wrestlers. And boy, this is a great thing for a lot of independent wrestlers, this whole tournament. It gets them noticed, gets them on the radar. It gets them noticed by bigger companies, other independent companies. It's just really good for the talent. But in Canada, the qualifiers will take place in Toronto at the Phoenix Concert Hall. Phoenix Concert Hall in Toronto will have the Canadian qualifying matches, and to find out what 2 Canadians are going to qualify to come here in August, and that'll be promoted by Canada's Smash Wrestling organization. Now the dates and the exact competitors are still to be determined. All that's being in play. as you can imagine, balancing all the balls, the schedules, the talents, to get a quality tournament and get 64 talents in it is not easy. It's a massive undertaking. So I tip my hat to the WhatCulture folks for beginning. So it's going to be a really cool tournament. I think you're going to enjoy covering it. Again, the 64 men from 8 countries will all be converging after the qualifying matches here in Britain, in Newcastle in August. 4 days, 4 big days. I got to think that there's going to be fans traveling here from outside the region. You know how wrestling fans are. We're all wrestling fans. You traveled here today, Sunday. I traveled here from Oklahoma. You can't get there from here, so it's good. And it's good to be with your peers and people that have like interests. So it's going to be a really monumental tournament. I'm glad it's being held here in the UK, and it's going to be. I'm looking forward to be a part of it. So I want to bring out now the voice of pro wrestling, the World Cup, my broadcast partner for this week here, and will be hopefully my partner when we come back in August. Please welcome Matt Stryker.
How about it one more time? A Hall of Famer, a true legend, Jim Ross. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Listen, since I'm 7 years old, I've fallen in love with this spectacle known as pro wrestling. And it's not lost on me how surreal it is to sit next to someone like JR and call some of the best wrestling in the world. So, as if there were no one else in the room, JR, I do appreciate it very much. Thank you. Pro wrestling is something that I feel unites us. There are no borders, there are no walls. Professional wrestling is something that unites everyone, no matter your language, your creed, your religion, your sexuality. And I think the Pro Wrestling World Cup is hitting at the perfect time in society to truly unite the entire professional wrestling world. I'm excited to be here. And given some of the things I've seen and some of the places I've been, again, it's not lost on me the opportunity and the endeavor that WhatCulture Pro Wrestling is putting together. And I think it's fitting that we're here in England right now. British wrestling history is amazing, from names like Johnny Saint to Marty Jones to the revered Knight family. British wrestling has inspired wrestlers all around the world. So I think it's fitting that we're here today. I'd like to announce that tickets are already on sale for the English qualifying leg. It will take place in Nottingham on March 21st, and all of the competitors have been revealed this past week, so let's take a look. Zack Sabre Jr. has been officially announced for the English qualifier. Rampage announced as well. Zach Gibson. Martin Kirby, an exciting wrestler many of you may be familiar with. Marty Scurll, make sure you say the name right. Will Ospreay. Nick Aldis, a giant man. Jimmy Havoc, good to see him back in a ring. There you have it, the 8 names announced for the English leg of the qualifier. Yes, they certainly do deserve a round of applause. One thing about pro wrestling is that it's taken me to places that otherwise a kid from Bayside, Queens, New York, that used to be a social studies teacher for a high school in Queens, would never get the opportunity to be a part of. A couple of summers ago, I went to compete in Japan for a company called Pro Wrestling Noah. And I was an outsider, but there was one guy that took me under his wing and made me feel like I belonged. There are professional relationships and there are personal relationships, and I'm honored to say that this next gentleman I'm going to bring up has become a personal friend. Not only is he arguably one of the best young technical wrestlers in the world, and that's not hyperbole. I defy any of you to get in the ring with him and challenge him. He also happens to have a very good heart, and he really is spreading what British wrestling means all around the world. So please join me in welcoming a friend and a true pro, Mr. Zack Sabre Jr.
I had to pay a lot of money for that, but the sentiment was very much appreciated. So, it's tournament season. I love a good tournament. I think nothing represents pro wrestling more beautifully than an amalgamation of talent from all over the world, and then the stress of being eliminated in one match. I'm very excited to, for the first time, to have Jim Ross commentating for me. It's going to be an absolute privilege, and I'm very good friends, and it'll be an honor to have this man lie about how good I am once again for more money. So tournament-wise, I kind of feel that I'm in a good position. I've won a couple over the years. Some get spoken about more than others. The Isle of Sheppey King of the Ring 2004 tournament doesn't really get mentioned in the same light as Battle of Los Angeles or 16 Karat Gold last year that I won. And then I also have the pressure of representing my nation. So I think in due fashion that I'll qualify and then lose immediately in the next round on penalties. Or I'll break the mold and I'll be the first English World Cup winner in a few decades. No pressure, so wonderful. I just want to say that and touch upon what Matt said briefly as well. I kind of think with things don't need to get political now, but in a current climate where there's a lot of uncertainty, I think pro wrestling provides positivity, and I think it provides an all-inclusive nature. We welcome everyone in pro wrestling, and I think this is going to be something very positive in the summer, and I think it's going to show the diversity of pro wrestling. And I think as a young Englishman, well, no, I'm not even that young anymore, getting on now. As a young Englishman traveling the world, and someone who's kind of really loved the heritage of British wrestling, I think to see us at the kind of epicenter of the industry now, and I think I'm very proud to be part of this tournament. And I'm very proud that this scene is hosting this, so even though there's going to be qualifying matches all over the world, that we're top dogs now, and I think that's very exciting. So yeah, I'll do my best. Wrestlers never really say anything interesting in these scenarios, so that's about it. Thank you very much.
All right, Zack Sabre Jr. No collar pop? No? No little, come on. All right, then. Well, ladies and gentlemen, keeping with the international theme, we have a very special guest here. He is the co-owner of one of the most prestigious and time-honored federations in all of Europe, the German Wrestling Federation. I'd like you to please give a warm welcome to the co-owner, Mr. Ahmed Sher. And now, Mr. Ahmed Sher.
First of all, I'm very excited that the German Wrestling Federation and WhatCulture Pro Wrestling are be in a partnership from now. I'm also very excited that promotions can work together to make something like that, which is awesome. So also I'm very, very happy that the whole world can see how good German wrestling really is. So these are the 8 German qualifiers. We got Bad Bones John Klinger, the most experienced German wrestler Crazy Sexy Mike, second generation wrestler Axel Dieter Junior, the Golden Boy, Cash Money Erkan, Alex Wright's student, Juvenile X, German TV superstar Pascal Spalter, Germany's future Lucky Kid, and the veteran Tarkan Aslan. So these are the 8 German qualifiers for the tournament.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your participation in what surely will be something that the entire world will be talking about, the Pro Wrestling World Cup. Now, in professional wrestling, as you know, we can't give everything away. So I will announce here that the Japanese and United States qualifiers will be announced at a later date, as will the qualifiers for the rest of the world bracket. So please stay close to WhatCulture Pro Wrestling, and as that information is put out, you'll be the first to know. All right, moving on. As the British wrestling scene is hot, so is the Scottish wrestling scene, and the Pro Wrestling World Cup is proud to announce the Scottish qualifying leg will be taking place on the 23rd of March at the Motherwell Concert Hall in Motherwell in association with the Scottish Wrestling Alliance. The competitors are: for the Scottish qualifier in the Pro Wrestling World Cup of 2017, we are proud to announce Joe Coffey. In addition to Joe, Lewis GIRVAN will be competing, as well as Joe Hendry, Drew Galloway, Mark Coffey, Joe's brother, Kenny Williams, B.T. Gunn, Liam Thompson, and there you have the 8 Scottish qualifiers. Now, even if we stopped here, this would be perhaps one of the most comprehensive lists of professional wrestlers in the world. But we have more. Again, on a personal note, in the past few years, I have found an affinity for lucha libre. Mexico and Mexico City has become almost like my second home. For my tastes, the things that the lucha libre athletes, the luchadors do, it's mind-boggling. It really shows the advancement of the professional athlete throughout time, because you watch some of this stuff and you have to rewind it and say, how did he physically do that? How is that possible? Nonetheless, with a mask covering the guy's face. So, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to announce that the Mexican qualifying leg will be taking place right here in England on the 30th of April at the Coventry Sky Dome. And we now have a very special message from one of the competitors. Please take a look.
Coventry, this is Rey Mysterio with a very important announcement. You don't want to miss out on April 30th. WCPW will bring to you the very first Pro Wrestling World Cup. And Rey Mysterio will represent the country of Mexico. I'm ready to take on whoever they put in front of me. You name it, I'll take them down. Booyaka! 619.
All right, there you have it. Breaking news. Rey Mysterio signed and announced. And ladies and gentlemen, I can now tell you, yes, I get the nod, that we can now announce that the rest of the Mexican bracket has been confirmed. Please take a look. All right, announced for the Mexican qualifiers for the Pro Wrestling World Cup of 2017, Carístico, El Hijo de Dos Caras, Penta El Zero M, El Liguero, Alberto El Patron, Drago, and Ray Phoenix, as well as Rey Mysterio. There you have 8 of the finest luchadors in the world, and all of them will be competing in the Pro Wrestling World Cup. And now, ladies and gentlemen, professional wrestling, lucha libre, call it what you will. There's always going to be professional and personal relationships, as I alluded to with Zach. This next gentleman I'm going to bring to the stage is steeped in heritage. And when you think of lucha libre, you cannot help but think of names like El Santo, Conan, Mil Máscaras, Dos Caras. And I do believe that this next gentleman's name will be put right there in the annals of history alongside the greats. He is a true professional, both in and out of the ring. A gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend, Alberto El Patron. How are you? Good to see you. Floor is yours, sir.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to all my amigos from the media. This is going to be an amazing event. As you know, we're going to have all the important competitors around the world. As you know, Mexico, we have more than 80 years of pro wrestling or lucha libre in Mexico, with amazing performers working in all the important organizations around the world. And WhatCulture made this possible. This is a great idea. The Pro Wrestling World Cup here in England for all of you is going to be fantastic. My team, the Mexico team, has amazing performers, as Matt Stryker was mentioning earlier, and just for the fact that we have my loved enemy, Rey Mysterio Jr., one of my best friends in the business, and Alberto El Patron representing the Mexico team, that can tell you that we're going to be either winning the tournament or doing an amazing job. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the World Cup of Wrestling. I forgot about something. I want to introduce you, my little brother, Hijo de Dos Caras. Sorry, little brother. He's gonna be part of the Mexico team. He has been doing amazing things in Mexico in all the indie companies. He already had the biggest companies in Mexico, CMLL and AAA, trying to book him, trying to make him be part of his of their organizations. Of course, I keep saying no. Go and wrestle the world, gain more experience, become a better wrestler, and then forget about Mexico. Just go and aim high, go and work for the biggest company in the world, not the one in Stanford. WhatCulture Pro Wrestling.
So guys, I just want to say thank you for coming here, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm really, really, really excited to be here and show you what's going on with the Lucha Libre, because that cup is going home with me and my brother and all the Mexico team. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a side note, just to show how much Alberto has given, not just to professional wrestling, also his endeavors in mixed martial arts, bringing that to the world as well, is something that people are taking notice. And I guess it's a personal thank you that you are taking pro wrestling out of the shadows and bringing mixed martial arts to the world and representing it with your family. So thank you very much.
Okay, so that's going to wrap it up today for the questions. We did just want to make you aware we do have more announcements to come in the coming weeks. Still got to find out who's in the Japanese leg and the US leg. That speculation can begin, but we will have that coming in the coming weeks. If you want some interview time, please do stick around. But just give one more round of applause for our panel. Mr. Jim Ross, Matt Stryker, Ahmed Sher, and we've got the other guys over here. We're going to wrap it up here. And thank you very much for coming.